Let's think back to our hypothetical toddler trying to persuade her mother, and the lobbyist trying to convince her client. In both these situations, the speakers had figured out the best way to get through to their audience. The toddler's audience was her mother. She knew from experience that turning on the tears at just the right moment might do the trick. The lobbyist's audience was an influential state senator. She definitely did her homework and found out that name-dropping a mutual acquaintance would probably give her firm more credibility. Just like the toddler and the lobbyist tailored their words to fit their audience, you also need to pick the words that will hit home with your reader. Think of your audience on the level of both the institution and the individual. Try to find out as much as you can about the school's mission and values. If you've had a chance to visit the campus, that's great. You may already have a good sense of the school's vibe. But even if you haven't visited, you can at least get an idea from their admissions literature or social media. But you should also think of the specific admissions officer who will be reading your file. If you want a truthful description of what really happens in college admissions, you should definitely pick up a copy of Harry Bald's book on writing the college application essay. Bald worked in admissions for both Brown and Columbia. In the most recent edition of the book, he creates a hypothetical dialogue between two admissions officers. He calls them Harry Haggard and Sarah Bleary. Both are in their early 20s, working in admissions. Bald really does a good job at clearing away any of the misconceptions about who exactly will be reading your application essay and the circumstances they'll be reading it under. In most cases, it won't be a well-paid, highly experienced admissions officer sitting in a leather chair in his oak-paneled office. More likely, it will be someone like Harry, who's sitting in his one-bedroom apartment with his laptop and the basketball game on in the background. Although the college admissions director may hear about your essay from Harry in the committee meeting, he or she most likely will never read it in its entirety. Or, your essay may end up being read by what's called an area person. This is an admissions reader responsible for reading all the application files from your high school's geographic region. This person could be required to read anywhere between 30 and 40 application files a day. This reader then presents her decisions to the admissions committee, which is usually made up of one or two other admissions officers, plus the admissions director. According to Bald, the committee very rarely ever questions the decision of the admissions officer who presents at the meeting. So, what does all this mean? Just as the toddler knew how to pout and the lobbyist knew just how to schmooze, you also have to know just how to reach the person who is on the other side of that laptop screen. You can't bore him with the same tired opening hook he's already read 6 different versions of. You must pull out all the stops and use whatever it takes to engage, entertain, or even challenge or provoke him with what you write in your essay. If not, he'll yawn and skim the rest, just like he already did for the 24 other essays that failed to catch his interest. So, how can you catch your reader's interest and hold on to it? We'll be considering a number of ways to do so throughout the movies to come in this course.